What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. So before this is going to be your review for the season finale of We're Here, season 1, episode 6. So a couple of things I want to say before I sort of get into this review. First of all, congratulations. It has been renewed for a season 2. I thought this was sort of a short season, but I didn't think about the fact that they had to halt filming because of the coronavirus. So they were shut down. They were one of the shows that had gotten shut down. If you watch the first couple of episodes, you realize that they started filming after, like, during or after January. So that would make sense. This episode was supposed to take place in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and they said they had only been there for 3 days before they had to shut down production. And so the rest of the episode is very unique. I'll get to that in a second, because I want to say this before I forget. I want to give a shout out to Alexa St. Croix. And Alexa St. Croix, I want to say it's Chris. From when they were in Branson. And Chris was paired with Shangela. He's the one that was a dancer, had been with his partner, and he spoke about how hard it was for people to be who they were in Branson for fear of losing their jobs and things like that. And the reason why I want to give him a shout out is because he actually he commented on my page. He thanked me for reviewing the show. He told me that he enjoyed my review and invited me to follow him on Instagram, which I have. And that's why the Alexa St. Croix stands out. So you guys, he is full on drag queen. Okay. He is full on drag queen now. So please, please, please go find him on Instagram. It's Alexa, Alexia, st.croix. Alexa St. Croix. So please go follow him over onto the gram. And I also want to give a thank you to Lady Sugar. She was the drag queen that was indigenous from the New Mexico episode. And I want to thank you again for reaching out to me. You identified in this show, in the final show, we got, I'm getting tongue tied. When you reached out to me, you let me know, because I mentioned in my review that it would have been great because you were a drag queen. I wish we would have been able to see you perform. And you said to me, hey, I did perform, but, you know, the shows had to be edited down and maybe I would get a chance to see it like as some bonus footage. Well, guess what? I saw it. And I'm going to try to get through this review without crying, because this episode, your performance was so beautiful. Please, you guys, she's non-binary, so I really don't want to use the wrong gender, and I apologize if I am. Charge it to my head and not my heart. But the performance started almost as if like a boy, and went through the whole song and actually got into drag on stage, and it was just very powerful with the song choice and everything. And so I am glad that I got a chance to see it, and I thank you for reaching out to me. I am humbled whenever anybody from any show that I review takes the time out to leave a comment and tell me, even if you're telling me that you didn't like what I had to say, you watched it and you responded, and so I appreciate that. Miss Sugar also was able to give me a little bit of history, and y'all know, for my regular people who follow me, y'all know that I'm a history buff, I'm a historian, I'm a political scientist, and so I'm always here to learn something new. So again, I know that was long-winded, but you guys, this episode was just, this season was just wow. So thank you so much. I'm sorry that we had a premature ending, but I'm so happy that HBO is renewing it for a second season. So with that being said, the rest of this episode, they decided to sort of give us a profile of Bob, Shangela, and Eureka, and maybe sort of help everybody understand their journey, get an insight into their journey, and why this show was so important to them, and what they hoped that they did with doing this show. And what I want to say is, whatever you hoped to do, you did. You did. So, just loosely, if you follow any of these performers, you sort of kind of know their story, but let me just go a little bit through it. All of them are from small towns in the South. Bob is originally from Georgia. Eureka's originally from Tennessee, and Shangela is originally from Paris, Texas, and we know Paris, Texas is famous for some not so great things. Um, and all of them talked about not being comfortable in the skin that they were in. Shangela said, "Hey, I knew I was gay, but I also knew that nothing good came out of coming out gay. The people around me, nothing good came out of it, and so I chose to keep it to myself because I know that just wasn't it wouldn't have been received well." Bob said, "Hey, I had this religious awakening, I guess for lack of a better word, through high school, and so for myself, it was more about I could not come to terms with my sexuality and my religion, and so I battled with that." He said that when he was in college, he was able to get into the theater and stuff, but then he sort of masked or drowned himself in alcohol and drugs. And so that was his thing. And then Eureka was saying how because he was already such a big guy, and listen, I really need to see Eureka in real life because I thought it just looked like Eureka was a big guy. No, Eureka, tall, Amazon. Okay. You saw the pictures. He's just towering over people when he was in high school. He was saying how he said he was in kindergarten and people thought he was in the ninth grade. Like, he said he was just, and you saw the pictures and you were like, yeah, like you were really a tall, very, and again, I say Amazon because y'all know, honey, us voluptuous girls, honey. And so we got to see a lot of behind the scenes footage, a lot of home videos and stuff. We saw Bob with hair, honey. Bob used to have dreads down his back, honey. We saw Shangela with a mustache and everything. And Shangela said, the way I chose to deal with it was I sort of immersed myself in being an overachiever because, if not, he would have been in church every night. So he was like, I was on the debate team and I was in drama and I was spelling and I was this and I was that. And Shangela actually has a college degree in, I don't know if it's in public relations, but that's what he was working in when he decided to move to LA. He said he started doing backup dancing for drag queens. He said he first moved to Dallas and he started doing backup dancing for drag queens. And so that was sort of his first taste of it, and then it evolved from there. He said he had literally just started doing drag when the producers from RuPaul's Drag Race found him. And of course, if you watched RuPaul, you knew he was green. Like with that first season, honey, green, green, green. He said that, he had quit his job and everything to go and do RuPaul. And of course, he was the first person eliminated. And he said, but what he decided to do was he decided to take those public relations skills that he had been using for other people and use them for himself. And he started building up a name for himself and started booking gigs and everything for himself. And that's when the producers invited him to come back for a second season. By that time, Shangela had sort of become a fan favorite, we got to see a lot of footage with a lot of never been seen for footage with with Eureka, Bob, and Shangela talking to the people in the different towns and really talking about their experiences. Eureka spoke on coming out to his mom, and again, we kind of know the story about Eureka coming out to his mom and how hard it was and how he eventually attempted suicide. But the part that, and he may have said this before, I just don't remember it, was that his mom had a really good friend. I didn't realize that Eureka was like first generation. His mom actually lived in Germany, or, well, I should take that back. Just because she lived in Germany doesn't mean he was, let me take all that back. Anyway, I'm just going to go with this. His mother lived in Germany and had a friend who was gay, who used to get beat up on a regular basis and eventually was killed. And so when he came out to her, all his mother thought was, you're going to be killed. Like, this is going to cost you your life. And we know that him and his mom were able to reconcile and they were able to move past it. Shangela wanted to get into movies and acting, which, you've seen Shangela in some things, honey. So it was just a really, really great glimpse into their journey and understanding how they got where they got to. And you saw, y'all remember, if you watch my reviews, you remember it was the first or it was the second episode, because the first episode was Gettysburg. It was the second episode where they had the like the drag troupe, and the guy that worked at night that said that, you know, he works at night and so he doesn't get a chance to come out, and they don't really. And remember, I was saying that he just looked so sad. Like, he just looked sad. Like, he just wasn't excited. Like, he said he was excited, but the excitement didn't really reach his eyes. And him and Bob had a moment, you know, and we saw a part of that moment, but we didn't get to see the whole conversation. And we saw that moment where, you know, him saying, like, you know, Bob saying, listen, drag saved my life. Like, I'm not bullshitting when I say that. Like, if I hadn't found drag, I don't know where I would be. Because, you know, Bob was saying how he had a, you know, a job. He was waitressing. Well, he was a waiter, not waitressing. And he hated it. But, you know, the 3 minutes that he spent on stage doing drag, he said the first laugh he got in drag, he said he remembers the first time he dressed up in drag for Pride, and how, you know, he blended in, and he didn't, you know, it was like, I'm among my people, like, you know. And so for him, he said, you know, drag just, it saved my life. Like, I just don't know where I would be. And so you just it was, for me, the most impactful part of this episode was seeing a lot of the behind the scene and interaction between those three and the rest of as they went from city to city, and a lot of other, you know, a lot of things they did. We got to see a lot of the clips from the shows that they didn't show, because of course they had to edit it down. Like, it's a full drag show, and they have to show the performances as well as show the leading up to, so they couldn't show us every single thing that happened. And so it was a great opportunity to see a lot of the other footage. Lady Sugar, and I really hope, I believe it's Lady Sugar. I know Sugar, but I believe it's Lady Sugar. Once again, we were able to see a lot more of the insight with the indigenous people, and the breakdown of the non-binary. I didn't realize Bob considered when it's non-binary, you're supposed to say they, right? I'm not trying to be ignorant, y'all. I don't know, so I want to make sure I'm right. But I didn't realize Bob considered himself non-binary. And so that was a whole conversation about what non-binary meant within the indigenous society. And, you know, Lady Sugar was able to break that down. So it was just a lot, you guys. It was a really, really good episode. And I'm going to tell you, I was kind of all right. You know, because y'all know this show been trying to get me all season with the tears. But I'm going to tell you what did it for me. At the very end, they did a whole drag performance. And it was like they incorporated everybody from the season. Well, yeah, I think everybody. By the time it was over with, I think it was everybody from the season. And some people you saw more than others. But I'm going to tell you when I did it. I'm going to tell you when I lost it. When I saw Grandpa. Y'all remember Grandpa. When I saw Grandpa and his grandson. When I saw the other guy with his dad. Remember the one who, I think that was from the first episode with his dad, and his dad performed, and he got in drag, and his dad didn't, you know, his dad put on the outfit that he wore that night when Shangela rode in on his motorcycle. So, the only person I was missing was Jamarcus. Now, where was Jamarcus? Because I saw, the friend, but I didn't see Jamarcus. I saw my guy that did the superhero with Bob. That was like the ally. That was the former firefighter. So I got a chance to see pretty much everybody. And so it just was a great. Unfortunately, it was a premature ending, but it was a great way to round up the season. And so I encourage you guys, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it on demand. It is a great, great show. Great, great show. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.